Alright guys, well Fear God here, and we're going to talk about the upcoming update that's going to be happening with the PTS and everything else, and my take on it, as well as some of the good things, the bad things, and so on and so forth. First off, they got rid of some of the bugs, which is nice, such as, when the NPCs are shot, they're not standing there like they're crucified. Just some of the things like that. They added in the finale to the new Nemesis rifle, which check out my other video if you want to get back your one-shot build, whether it's a headshot or a body shot. Anyway, with that, moving on. They are making changes in the Dark Zones and in how some of the talents work, and so on and so forth. Now, I had recently put up a post in the suggestions blog in Ubisoft forums, and I'll read them verbatim what I had said, which is kind of interesting because some of the things that I had suggested, they actually did, kind of, but not to what I was expecting. So I'll just start by saying that. This is verbatim what I had wrote. I said, let me start by saying this. I'm a huge Division fan, and I'm probably one of the very few players on Division 1 with over 400 days actual time played across 4 different players. Now, Division 2. The graphics are amazing. PvE content is amazing. The dynamics and construct of the PvE raids upcoming is outstanding. Let's not forget that. However, I am primarily a PvP player, and to me, I feel the rest of the community, that aspect is severely lacking and fairly fails to grasp my attention for years like the Division 1 did in its current state. My suggestion is to make it as fun as Division 1, and to do so by the following. Re-enable Dark Zones in-game chat. Yes, while on one hand it did uphold a certain abundance of toxicity in the game, it also allowed for players to have a drive and competitive edge against each other in the Dark Zones. 2. Split the Dark Zones 3 ways, not 2. At the current moment we have 3 Dark Zones, two in which are normalized and one that is occupied. I suggest taking one of these normalized Dark Zones and turning it into a non-normalized Rogue 2.0 system in which your build matters yet you still have the flag. Remove the shock effect from the DZ turrets. The normal turrets destroy you enough as it is and serves as a warning to rogue players in that state. Why add the shock to them? Number 4. Encourage the use of build diversity and strengths. Stop nerfing things. The fun of the Division 1 is how you could spec into a certain talent, skill, weapon type, etc., and make even the total trash weapon in the right hands totally competitive against the meta builds. In the current state of Division 2, there are very few effective builds and it's repetitive. Number 5. Rework the skill power system as well as its effectiveness. This is probably my biggest and most work involved suggestion. Right now, skill power is only useful to unlock certain mods, in which some mods are completely unattainable in both normalized and regular gameplay, while maintaining its effectiveness. I enjoy the Division 1 system, where the more skill power meant that you were having a more effective healer, etc. That's how it should be in my humble opinion. Number 6. Bring back squad tasks / given roles in quotations in Division like it was in Division 1. Every effective team had a healer, 2 DPS dealers, and a defender / mid-range build. Bring that back. Right now there is no room on a team for healers, and PvP teams are rather bland in the fact that it's simply a short face trade of a squad of 4 and that's it. Bring back the given roles where you need to eliminate the healer to continue, etc. Bring back the ability to boost your gear's given stats to max. That is what that I think would have a massive help to PvP players, which, to be 100% honest, is why Division 1 lasted as long as it did. It's PvP players, not nearly as much as its PvE players. I hate to say it and cringe at the implication of my next statement, but bring back gear sets that are actually effective. Allow talents to be on said gear pieces, as, in their current state, gear sets are utterly useless and are not worth farming for. However, if it is possible, maintain the possibility of running a quote-unquote hexo build still. All in all, I hate to say it, but I agree with Marco on the point that Division 2 just does not have the same grab and enjoyment in PvP as Division 1 did. and I cannot see myself playing or enjoying the game without some major changes done. Even through all the exploits, meta, etc. that the Division 1 had, to be honest, each update was part of the fun and the excitement of the game. Having to get back that awesome build, having the desire to try different builds and ideas, outwit and change things up to beat the opposition. These are the things that kept me playing the Division 1 for over 400 days. Division team, I hope you win, or if you read this, do not see as another angry review or as a butthurt player. I'm simply a diehard Division fan that wants the franchise he loves to go far. He is disappointed in his current state and simply desires to suggest some improvements. So, that being said, they went and they changed a few things, which some of them I like, and some of them I don't. The first one that they did is that they are changing the Occupy Dark Zone to where it now has a rogue system again. But it's I can't remember if it's a flagging system or if it's just a shoot still. Either way, it would be good because it gives the rogue status back, which makes it so it's not just like an all-out brawl out there, which I like. They increase the chance of contaminated loot to drop. Each NPC at the landmarks will be guaranteed to drop contaminated loot, and they also made it the only place in which will drop above 500 level gear, which I think is awesome because that forces players to go out to the DZ to be able to, farm for that little edge better gear, which I applaud them 100% on. That's an awesome move. Now, the next thing that they did, which I also like, they are removing the crit chance from hipfire, which is really good, especially with like the hipfire LMGs. Now, getting into the things that I don't like, while they are giving a buff to some weapon talents, or not weapon talents, gear talents, such as Unbreakable, Berserk, etc., etc., they're also raising the requirements in which is needed, such as, like, for Unbreakable, you're going to need, I think it was 11 defensive stats to be able to use it. For Berserk, it was like 12 or something like that. And to me, that makes it kind of counterproductive, because that makes it to where you either have to spec all into DPS or all into armor or all into electronics to be able to unlock these talents, and you're only going to be able to unlock really, the one that's on your chest piece or the one that's on your gloves. You're not going to be able to actually go through and unlock all of your gear like most min-max players would want to. They wouldn't be able to unlock all the talents. So I think with that, it's going to make it so that there's really only, it's going to force meta build. It's going to make it so that, there's only going to be players with Berserk, for instance, or there's only going to be players with Safeguard, or things like that. I think that is another thing that's going to kind of hurt the game. Now, moving on, they are also making it, their suggestion to make skills more useful is they're increasing basically their damage output or healing output by 25%. While yes, that does help a little, it still goes back to my point of skill power is really only used to be able to unlock certain mods. After that point, it's completely useful, and it doesn't matter how much skill power you have. So I don't necessarily agree nor like the change that they did there, but I won't really know until I get my hands on it and can really tell you. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it'll be useful after all. Let's see, what else was there? There was, I believe there was a couple weapon nerfs, or not nerfs, but buffs that were coming, like the Pestilence and such like that, which is a good thing. But all in all, although some of my requests or whatever were met in a kind of an offstandish way, I'm still kind of disappointed with the state of Division 2 at this moment. I'd like to be able to see the game chat back. I'd like there to be actually a reason to want to engage in the PvP, like what I did for hours. Like I brought dozens of videos about for builds and to help other players out. like I said, I hope the Division 2 goes far because it is one of the better franchises I've ever played, and it's only time will tell. Here's to hoping, and I'll of course keep bringing you content as it comes out and as I figure out different meta builds and hopefully figure out some things to break the meta, the quote-unquote meta, like I did in Division 1. With that, Favorite God is out. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like it, hit a like, and have a good day.